Hello there, channel members, friends, and followers. This is Kuwait Pilot, your host for tonight's show. It is 1700 Zulu, 8 p.m. local time here in Kuwait, where this live stream is being broadcasted to you. I want to welcome all of you. Rand Cooley, my dear friend, welcome aboard. Steve Venn, welcome aboard, my friend. I enjoyed having you in the group flight. It was definitely a lot of fun. And we really had a kick last night, for sure. Boeing Corp, welcome aboard, my friend. And we have Boeing Corp from Logan, New Jersey, USA. Thank you very much. I'm glad you liked the musical selection. I'm not sure I have been successful in all my selections, but thank you very much. Diego Sala, welcome aboard. Andes stopped flying after the pandemic. It was great to see the MDs at, I hope I say it correctly, Jorge Newbery. Is that correct? At the Argentinian capital, Buenos Aires. I hope I said this correctly or close enough. Simulation Flow, welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you. Graham Young, welcome aboard. Badger, Benny, Parking Brake. Thank you for all the channel members, of course, for your continued support. And we are today flying the Maddog, ladies and gentlemen. This aircraft has not received a lot of love from me here on the channel. I've done probably very few flights of this aircraft, whether it's for P3D or for MSFS. It has received some love in X-Plane 11. And the channel members have voted for this aircraft today, and I've picked Argentina. A country I haven't flown in before, whether in real life or in the sim. And so it should be an interesting flight where I'm looking for you guys to teach me a little bit about Argentina. I'm a big fan of Diego Maradona, who was, in my view, still the best soccer player in the world. Of course, only second to Pelé. Some people think otherwise. I think he's probably better than Pelé, considering just how skilled this guy was. But him and Pelé, I place them probably both at #1 position as the best soccer players. And today we are flying in the home country of Maradona. Yeah, we're flying this Andes airline flight today. And we are at Sierra Alpha Charlie Oscar, or Paja Blanca. Sorry, guys, but it's really difficult to pronounce the names in Spanish. I think it's Paja Blanca is the name of the airport. That's the AKA name for the airport. But before we begin our flight, I really want to commend the guys at Leonardo Software for the work they've done. Although they've initially ported this aircraft from P3D, I do really like the texture work and the details aboard this aircraft. If we kind of examine here the wings, just look at the area underneath the wing here. Very nice use of PBR materials to really bring this aircraft to life. And I do really like the texture work. You can see the details on the aircraft door here. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. As you can see right there, I mean, some really fine details there. Maybe the textures are not, super high resolution in some areas, but overall a very good effort by Leonardo Software bringing this aircraft to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Hopping into the cockpit, of course, I can say that this is a very well developed 3D cockpit. It looks absolutely gorgeous. The texture work is really, really good. Again, it might be ported from P3D, but in my view still looks good. You got to give him credit for making it look very realistic, very authentic, and very much it gives you the feel of being in the MD-80. Very, very nice aircraft. Today we are going to be flying to the capital, Buenos Aires. And hopefully I can give you guys a good show. It should be an uneventful flight based on the weather information that I have received for our flight. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the electronic flight bag here, or the EFB. And this is probably the most daunting part of setting up the Fly Maddog. And all I do is normally I go to the SimBrief, I download the flight plan for the Maddog and the ACARS as well. And then what I do is I use the add-on manager, or what do you call it, delivery manager, to sync everything. So if we go to the weight and balance, I have everything synced there. Or you can always go to import, select the departure airport, which is Sierra Alpha Charlie Oscar to Sierra Alpha Bravo Echo, or Jorge Newberry. Jorge Newberry. All right, so we have everything set up here in the aircraft, and the next thing we can go to aircraft services, and we need to have the battery on. We can definitely turn on the GPU. So let's go ahead and connect the GPU to the aircraft, and we can head over now to the overhead panel. You can see here the external power is available, and this is the battery switch. So we're going to turn the battery on, and we're going to bring up the external power to the aircraft. It runs some self-tests there to ensure the systems are operational. You can see all the lights blinking. Really good job by Leonardo's software, really modeling this aircraft. I really like this aircraft. It's a handful to fly, so it takes a little bit of learning. It flies extremely different from Boeing or Airbus. And obviously the instruments work also in a very different way. Before we get underway in our flight, I want to remind you guys that I9 Builds, the Q8 Pilot official partners, are running a summer sale from the 1st of August until the 15th. So already 7 days have elapsed. 30% off all I9 simulation aircraft. That is huge, guys. The link, of course, to the store will be in chat command as a timer, but also if you'd like to just go and browse their store, it's https://store.i9builds.com, and they're also offering 35% on all Xometry airports. Xometry airports are at 35% off until the 15th of August. And then most digital design products are also at 30% off. So if you are looking to purchase some great add-ons, I highly recommend that you visit the store. And I want to welcome Irfan, Ahmed, Elaine, Trottier, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Wael, welcome aboard. Stan, Kenny Myers, C. Matkovich, welcome aboard. And thank you again for all the channel members for your continued support. All right, let's head over now to the, we're going to head back over to the aircraft. We're going to go to this, we're going to say start boarding. We have 124 passengers aboard this flight today to the Argentinian capital. All right, let's get things started. We are going to come over here and we can run all sorts of tests. First, we're going to do the wind shear test.
Shear, headwind, shear, headwind, shear.
Light slow.
Ground proximity warning test.
Shear, tailwind, shear.
Terrain. Pull up.
All right, and the anti-skid test, which shows the message right there. Okay, and that checks okay as well. The stall warning test.
Stall. Stall.
Perfect.
Stall.
All tests are okay. Maximum speed warning test checks okay. And we can also check the passenger volume, and it looks okay.
Emergency lights off.
All right, so everything checks okay here. Perfect. And now we can come here and set up the overhead panel. So we want to start the APU ASAP. So we're going to turn on the fuel pump first. And then what we're going to do is we are going to leave everything here. Emergency lights are armed. We are going to turn on the non-smoking. We'll leave the seatbelt sign as the aircraft is still refueling. We're going to set this on the captain. We're going to turn on the anti-fog and anti-ice for the windshield. And we are now ready to start the APU. So to do this, we're going to go to the APU master switch and run and start. And what you'll see is now the EGT rising momentarily. You'll see the APU as well. So we'll just give it some time. There you go. And this is, by the way, true to the actual aircraft, the simulation. It starts pretty slow and speeds up. You can also hear the passenger announcements in the background. You can see the needle here moving, which is very cool. I like the animation. And we have Rashid Yassin, welcome aboard. Glenn Chambers, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. It's Will's Aviation, welcome, my friend. And Thomas, hello there, my friend. Welcome aboard. I used to fly on American Airlines Virgin, had to slide sideways into the restrooms. I did, however, favor seat 21B, exit row, and the 2 seats. Oh, cool. So we have people who've been on this aircraft, which is very, very cool. All right, so it looks like the APU is available. So we can now turn on the APU and we can turn off external power. So that is now taken care of. We're going to turn on the air. The air conditioning, this is kind of like the APU bleed, if you will. So we're going to turn this on. We're going to turn on the bleeds on as well. And we're going to turn on the pneumatic pressure right here. Now, one thing I noticed in this aircraft is that the sounds are not, the engine sounds in the interior are almost non-existent. You can't really hear them, but nonetheless, just really beautiful aircraft. All right, all set here. Perfect. So everything is set here. We have the APU now running. And let's take a quick look here at we still have the passengers loading, but we can always go now to the ground and remove the GPU. Perfect. All right, now time to set up the FMC. Oops. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to go to position init, and we are selecting our airport, which is Sierra Alpha Charlie Oscar. And we set that as the reference airport. We can select the GPS position and set it here. And now we have the IRS alignment. Then we're going to go to the route. We are flying today from Paja Blanca to Jorge Newberry. And the destination is Sierra Alpha Bravo Echo. We entered that there. Excellent. And our flight today is PVT 08907. And let's go ahead and select the departure. All right, so first we're going to go to departure and arrival. So this is our departure. We're departing today runway 01 through the, let me check here our flight plan real quick, through the ASME 1. So this is the departure. This is our SID. And the transition is the AUTRAX transition, or UTRAX transition. And then we're going to go to the route. As you can see here, we have this set. Then we're going to fly to Uniform Whiskey 24. Uniform Whiskey 24 Airway, and we are going to exit at Sierra November Tango. Sierra November Tango. Perfect. We're going to activate and execute. Then we're going to go to the departures and arrivals one more. And we're going to select our arrival, which is the, let's go back here, select the arrival, and we are going to go to the next page. Next page. And this is our the Sen 8 Quebec star into ILS 13 at the capital through the Venar transition, I believe. Or is there no transition? Let me check here real quick in our flight plan. Venar indeed is the transition into our arrival. We're going to execute that. And now we have our flight plan in the FMC. Let's go and make sure there are no discontinuities, which I could not see any. We're going to go back to the legs page. Perfect. Super Expert, welcome aboard, my friend. And we have also Stefan Heiner. Welcome aboard. My last flight on the MD-80 was directly next to those. Is it Jet 8D's best flight I've ever been? Is it JetBlue? Yeah, the MD-80 is a special aircraft without a doubt. All right, perfect. So what we can do now is we're going to take a quick look here to... All right, so all the passengers are on board, and we can now go to the performance. Weight and balance is set. Let's go to performance. We are at Sierra Alpha Charlie Oscar, and we enter that. Runway 01, condition is dry, flight flaps optimum. The current wind at our location is, let's see, 80 degrees 4 knots, 804, 804, and enter that. And the current outside temperature is 10 degrees Celsius, and that is done. Takeoff weight is something we can get here, 59,100. 59,100. And everything is in kilos. And we're just going to say calculate. And now we have all our speeds and the maximum takeoff weight. Everything is set up here for us. Perfect. All right. Let's go back to the FMC. Perfect. We're going to go to the fuel. Now for the fuel today, we can always come back here, or we can just simply take a look at our flight plan. And the total fuel today is 6.8. 6.8. That would be 6,800 kilos of fuel. So 6.6. Actually, if we put 6,800 like that, and we put A, does it take that? Yeah, it will basically round that up. So that is cool. The zero fuel today is 49.7. We can grab it also from the weight and balance on the electronic flight bag. So we're going to put 50. Let's see, 49.7, 49.7, and we enter that here. Reserve fuel for our flight today to the Argentinian capital is final reserve with alternative 1.6 plus 1.2. We'll make it 3.2, so 3.2. We enter that here. And the cost index for the flight is 35. Cruise altitude today is 320. So it automatically says flight 320, flight level 320. And the cruise wind 0804 knots. I'll beg your pardon. This is the average wind. So the average wind is 286.47. 286.47. All right, and that is now set. The standard deviation, or ESA, is currently 6. So we just key that in, and it will put all the information. Transition altitude, 3,500 feet, and we are good. Let's make sure we execute this. Then we're going to go to takeoff, and now we have the V speeds here. So we can simply go 138, 143, 152. So 138. That's V1, and V2 is 143, and 152 is V2. Perfect. We can set now the MCP. So we're going to set the altitude to 32,000 feet. 32,000 is set. And runway heading 01. So we're just going to put 01. 01. Let's see here. All right. And that is also set. Flight directors can go on both sides. Flight directors are set. And we're going to come down here, turn on the hydraulics. Right, we can see the hydraulic pressure now rising. Perfect. And all is looking good. The altimeter is set. And everything is... do we have an aircraft? Oh, yeah, there is an aircraft. Was it landing or taking off? Looks like it's just passing by. Yeah, not sure what it's doing, but... that's very low. All right, so everything is ready here. We are ready to go, and we can now turn on our beacon lights. So anti-collision lights are on, position lights are turned on, and we are good for engine start. Let's make sure we close all the doors and remove all the equipment. We're going to go to ground services. As you can see, the stairs, aft stairs, why is that on? That's the one in the back. Let's go ahead and close it. And we are good to go. Please hit the like button, folks. Help Q8. Thank you very much, Rand. Appreciate it. Is the model of engines on the Super 80. Oh, I see. Okay. Cameron Walker, welcome aboard, my friend. Hey, Q8, are you surviving the 40-plus weather in Kuwait? Okay, 31 in southern Canada here, and I'm dying. Well, Cameron, let me tell you, the weather has been absolutely terrible in Kuwait. The relative humidity is in excess of 95%, and it's been a frying 47 degrees Celsius. So with the humidity, with relative humidity over 90% and 47 Celsius, I tell you, it's been a struggle. But... yeah, we are surviving for sure. All right, so everything is good here, folks, and we are now ready for engine start. Let's take a look here at the outside, make sure all the ground equipment is removed, and we are now ready to start the engines and head over to the runway. Perfect. Let's go ahead and turn off the bleeds, and we're going to go to the engine guards. We're going to start, we're going to turn on the fuel pumps. We don't need the center tanks as they are currently empty. Start pump is on. We'll leave it for now. And we are good to go. We're going to start with the right engine first. So here we go, right engine. And we should be able to see the engine now spooling. We need System A first. And now we can see the engine spooling. As you can see now. Here we go. And again, I can't really hear any engine sounds. You can hear them from the outside. You can't hear them from the inside. All right, 22, and let's give it fuel. All right, and we have you can see now the engine starting. If we look at the outside, just the heat layer effect in Microsoft Flight Simulator is just really very well done. I think one of the things I would like to see in this aircraft is better sounds on the exterior model. And I want to be able to hear a little bit of engine sound while I'm in the cockpit. All right, the engine is now stabilizing. So we're going to allow it to stabilize. Let's come over here and we're going to put this on the legs page. We're going to put this on climb. All right, perfect. We have a good start. Let's go ahead and start the left engine now. We're going to watch the engine again spool. As you can see now, the left engine is spooling. I remember when I visited Israel in December, I was in shorts at 27 Celsius and everybody was in coats. All right, so here we go. Let's give it fuel. Perfect. And now we have the left engine starting as well. Perfect. We are going to select takeoff here. All right, and now we have a good start on both engines. As you can see now, the APU generator is off. I really love the simulation, the depth of simulation in this aircraft. And I tell you, the guys at Leonardo software actually recommend that you use their manual to go through all the checks in order to get full appreciation of how much simulation of systems has gone into this aircraft. All right, so we have a good start on both engines. The system selector for the ignition can go to the off position. We're going to close the guards here on the engine. Start fuel pump is no longer required. We can now turn on the seatbelt sign for the passengers. And what else here? APU gens. We don't need them. So we can remove the APU. We can turn off the APU master. And now we can turn on the bleeds. All right. Perfect. Everything's looking good here. And the only thing we have is the parking brake is still on. Everything else set. All right. So now we need to set our flaps. And if you look at the performance page here, we have flap 6. And so we're going to go ahead and 14 for the 14 for the CG. So we're going to select flap 6, and the CG is something that you'll get here in the weight and balance, 13.7. That's about 14. So we're going to change this here a little bit. There we go, 14.6 for the trim. So let's set our trim for takeoff. All right, trim is set. And flaps 6. So we're going to turn this down here. And then we can select flaps 6, flaps and slats. There we go. And let's see here. There we go. All right, so 6 is selected. And all is good. Perfect. All right, all we need to do now is release the parking brake, head over to the... Let's arm... Oh, I love the sound of the arm when you arm the speed brakes there. Very, very cool. And it looks like there is an aircraft arriving just now. Aerolíneas Argentinas. Okay. All right. The runway turn-off lights are turned on. Anti-collision lights are on. By the way, the strobe aboard the MD-80, it's automatic. So even if I turn the strobe lights on now, they will not turn on until the aircraft is actually airborne. We can turn on the wing lights. Why not? And everything else is set here. Let's go ahead and release the parking brake and head over to the runway. All right. Let's give it some power. Just look at the beautiful sight of the MD-80. What a beast of an aircraft. How about we bring up FS Realistic? Yeah, let's do that. Why not?
FS Realistic connected.
Sets our speed V2 152. Gowan Grimm, welcome aboard. Definitely a very, very good rendition of the aircraft and simulation. That's AI traffic. Yes, sir. That is AI traffic by Alpha India Group, which is freeware, available for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think it's the best right now. I'm waiting for Just Flight's AI traffic. They've always excelled in developing AI traffic programs, I think both for P3D and for X-Plane. So I am really excited to see the to see their AI traffic program for Microsoft Flight Simulator. All right, here we go. That's our turn. All right, so these runways are kind of run into each other, but that's our runway 01. Right, we can turn on the landing lights and the strobe lights as well. All right, so the takeoff is set and everything's looking good. Takeoff here. Actually, flap needs to go down. That's better. All right. All right, we are lined up, ready to go. So what we're going to do is we are going to turn on the auto throttle. Why is it clamping? Ah. All right, now we know what's going on. All right, that's one thing I like about it will warn you. So what we forgot, guys, is this guy here. So this needs to be on rejected takeoff, and we need to arm this. And we no longer need the pneumatic pressure, so those we can turn off for takeoff. And now we are good to go. All right, let's cancel that. All right, here we go. All right. Auto throttles, EPR takeoff, and now we're good to go.
Takeoff thrust set.
Checked.
Clip. 80 knots, cross check.
Not sure why it keeps saying. All right, V1, rotate. And positive rate of climb. Gears going up.
Gear up, lights out.
All right, that's much better, so I can see what's going on here. And we're going to begin our turn. Lovely aircraft. Why does it keep saying clamp here? Let's turn this off and back on. It still says... Alright, we're going to go to climb. Alright, EPR is climb now. Perfect. It's very heavy on the controls, without a doubt. But a real-world pilot has actually said that this is in line with what the aircraft actually does in real life, so that the controls actually feel very realistic. So it looks like they've nailed it, really, the guys at Leonardo Software. Right, we can put nav here. And VNAV. Autopilot 1 is engaged. And now the aircraft is in VNAV climb, nav track, FMS EPR. So all's looking good. And the aircraft is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Excellent. We continue to climb. Is this? Yeah, we have climb here. All right, let's retract the flaps. Here's a look at the outside, and this rather beautiful bird, the Leonardo Maddog. Look at that, guys. It does look like a Maddog for sure. MC Crewfish, hello my friend, welcome aboard. Gotta love the black engine smoke coming on the back right there. Right, we're doing good. Continue our climb. We're looking at 32,000. We are currently approaching 9,000. We are at 250 knots. And the aircraft will maintain 250 knots until we pass 10,000 feet. And of course, then the speed can be increased. We can change the range here a little bit so you guys can see better. There are some views there for you guys. No, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Just look at that beautiful wing view right there. And on the other side. Such nice wing views on this beast of an aircraft. All right, we continue to climb. As you can see, the minute we pass 10,000 feet, the speed starts going up. We can now track the landing lights. And we can come and turn off the floodlights as well, and the wing lights, anti-collision, and the strobes can, of course, remain on. Joe, good evening to you, my friend. We continue now our climb to 32,000 feet, our final cruise altitude for the flight. Well, the group flight yesterday was definitely a lot of fun. I think most of the guys on the group flight wanted the flight to be actually longer. with more touch and goes and for some extra fun and challenge. So that's exactly what I'm going to do in the next flight. Gowan Grim, I remember flights in the MD-80 on the DC-9 days. Yeah, or DC-9, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have a new subscriber here at the channel. So I want to welcome Johan Sam Phillip. Welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you here as a subscriber of the channel. Welcome aboard. What a beautiful looking sight here. Right, we can set standard 29902 is set. And by the way, guys, since the last flight, I have purchased Orbex South America mesh, and I'm very pleased with it. So if you're on the fence on getting it, I absolutely recommend it. It's just brilliant. Really revamps the experience and flying in South America. It is definitely a great looking bird. And by the way, the cabin is actually pretty nicely modeled. Just look at that. Yeah, I mean, I like the cabin. You can see nice textures. One class, obviously. But yeah, you've got it all. $16,000 for, you can see the top of climb now showing here. Let's correct our current heading. Right, current heading is set, and we are looking good. Perfect. The that mesh is amazing. 100% recommend. The undies are amazing. Yes, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, it is definitely something I would recommend that you buy. And we have with us map. I'm sorry, I cannot say your name, but welcome aboard. I think your name is written maybe in Russian, I'm not sure. But welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you with us. I hope you guys, whoever was with us last night, I hope that you've enjoyed that piece of music that I played. Boeing Corp comes in with a $10 super chat. Thanks for your awesome videos. They are very enjoyable. Please buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks tomorrow. Oh, thank you very much, Boeing Corp. And we actually have Starbucks at work downstairs where I work. We do have a Starbucks there. So thank you very much. I'm gonna go, and when they ask me for my name, I'm gonna tell them Boeing Corp.
Thanks for your awesome videos. They are very enjoyable. Please buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks tomorrow.
The Clintons always enjoy watching your streams. Doing a great job. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much, guys, for your kindness. I really, truly appreciate it a lot. And we are now at 20,000 feet. And we are heading to about 12,000 feet remaining for final cruise altitude. And here's what things look like in the outside. A few scattered clouds. It's not very complicated to operate the MD-80. It takes some learning, obviously, to learn all the systems and what they do. But if you've owned the Rotate Sim MD-80 for X-Plane and you're fluent flying that aircraft, I don't see any issues with flying this specific aircraft by Leonardo's software, other than the setting up the fuel and balance, which is a little bit you know, a little bit complicated. But I think they've made some changes, so at least the numbers now sync properly. And yeah, it's a really enjoyable aircraft. It's in fact one that I would recommend for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So if you like airliners, this is one aircraft that will keep you busy, both in terms of the learning curve that it requires and also flying the aircraft in the sim. It does require some work and some learning without a doubt. Here's a wing view. In fact, what we can do is we can do this. Come over here. Just guys, look at that. Look at that beautiful wing view there. And maybe even better if we come right here. There you go. Look at that. That's just fantastic looking view there of the MD-80. Special wings, really. I love the MD-80 wings. The MD-80 and the 777, Boeing 777 are just exceptional wings. The way they look is just phenomenal. Tom, hello my friend, and Remy Jensen, welcome aboard. And we also have Peters, welcome aboard. It does look nice, but 91 euros seems too much for me. Definitely this aircraft is not for everyone. I would agree with you that the price is definitely not on the cheap side. But if you ask me, is this aircraft worth its money? In my personal view, it is definitely worth its money. It's a really authentic representation of the MD-80. It's as close as possible within the limitations of the platform. I think it really offers something unique for flight simmers, those who want to really delve into the depth of simulation and really want to understand how this aircraft operates. The fuel system, the hydraulics, everything has been very carefully simulated by the guys at Leonardo software. And I really recommend this aircraft without a doubt. It has my seal of approval, and I think it's worth its money. I personally think it's worth its money. So I think you're making an investment. You buy this aircraft, without a doubt. I wonder when the 777 version 2 for X-Plane 11 will be released. It will more than likely be released with X-Plane 12. I don't think that there is any point for developers to release anything for X-Plane 11 at this point, because everyone is waiting. And if you look at the development, with the exception of very few, the development for X-Plane 11 is pretty much halted as far as third-party developers are concerned. And with us being less than 30 days, according to Austin Myers, from the release of the public beta for X-Plane 12, I think everyone is going to keep their cards in their wallets until X-Plane 12 is released for the public. By the way, that does not stop me from buying X-Plane add-ons. I keep buying airports and buying aircraft, and I just really am enjoying myself in both simulators these days. I have been finding myself doing more Microsoft Flight Simulator streams lately, and that is just due to the recency of the add-ons released for the platform as opposed to X-Plane, where we haven't really seen anything new for known reasons and totally understandable reasons. But without a doubt, I have been spending a lot more time with Microsoft Flight Simulator in the recent past. Says Q8, maybe you can try SBFL, SUMU someday. No, why not? Yeah, absolutely. Sure, yeah. That's a good suggestion. Same, still fully enjoying X-Plane 11, and at the same time, really looking forward to X-Plane 12. Absolutely, next to Argentina, yeah, for sure. That's a good suggestion. Thank you for making a suggestion. I will definitely consider it for an upcoming flight. You know, folks, one of the things that inspires me for making content is that I never knew that I actually provide inspiration to many. And some of those people, you know, some of the fine folks that follow the channel actually got inspired to the point where they pursued a career in aviation. Some have become flight engineers, others have become real-world pilots. And a few days ago, I received yet another letter from an individual who I've asked him if it was okay to say who he was on the channel and announce his name, but he, you know, I respect, of course, his privacy, so he didn't want me to say anything, but he has become a real-world pilot, and he's type rated on the 737-800, and he sent me a thank you letter for being an inspiration, and that he actually pursued his career in aviation because
Thanks
of...
for all you do. Buy yourself a coffee.
Oh, Cameron Walker, thank you very much. Came in just with $5 Canadian. I'm having 2 coffees tomorrow, one on Cameron and one on Boeing Corp. So I'm going to give them those 2 names tomorrow at my workplace. And so the individual sent the letter to thank me for being an inspiration to him, and that I never actually knew that he was watching the channel, but I almost had tears when I read his letter. It was a very touching letter, and I never really knew that I had such effect, you know, on people, but I'm very glad. Right, so we go to cruise mode right now, and we are at our final cruise altitude of 32,000 feet. Now, the MD-80 is a very tricky aircraft to land, and you gotta really be careful. It's a handful to land, it's a handful to hand fly, but I will tell you one thing. This particular aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator is a seriously very joyful aircraft to hand fly, and it really tests your piloting skills in the sim. It flies very different from the Airbus and very different from the Boeing. So hopefully I can butter the landing for you guys and give you guys a good show. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go to the FMC here real quick, and we're going to take a look. We see that the top of descent is 130 nautical miles. That's not too long from now. We are doing okay on the fuel. Total fuel left is 4,900 kilos. We're going to come here to the init reference. We're going to note the ILS frequency and the final approach course, which is 133 degrees for runway 13 at Jorge Newbery at Buenos Aires, the Argentinian capital. All right, so 109.5. We are going to change that to 109.5, and that is set 133 for the approach course, and we're going to do the same thing here, 109.5. All right, that is set, and the approach course is 133 degrees. Perfect. Now, another thing that we need to do is we need to come here to our electronic flight bag. Captain Robbie, thanks for flying the MD. I wonder why most streamers don't stream it anymore. I have no clue. It's probably not a very friendly aircraft to... I mean, look, I'll tell you, I'll just hold on one. All right, so here's what I think. If you look at, for example, flight deck to sim, V1 simulations, A320 sim pilot, Into the Blue simulations, those are actually real world pilots. And they feel right at home flying the aircraft that they fly in real life. And of course, they bring tremendous value to the community by flying the aircraft that they are more familiar with, that they understand very well, because I think they can offer a lot more value flying those aircraft. If I look at, for example, my very good friend, a fine gentleman, Captain Canada flies everything. And, you know, he flies a small aircraft, large aircraft, airliners, all sorts of aircraft, VATSIM, Pilot Edge, everything. But if you look at, for example, V1 simulations, another great content creator, besides being really a highly decorated instructor and captain, he mostly does Airbus. And the reason is that he's a real-world Airbus pilot. And so that's his comfort zone. That's where he feels comfortable. That's where he can add a lot of value. Sorry guys, I received a phone call that I had to take. So just finishing on that thought, the same thing probably with flight deck to sim. You'll see that he does a lot more Boeing flights than anything else, and that's where you know, he can offer the most value, being a real-world pilot, a real-world Boeing pilot. And I think we can all thank COVID for having brought you know, those real-world pilots into flight simming. For one, I think it's good practice for them to keep, you know, their minds on the, and not to forget, you know, their procedures and kind of brush up when, you know, everyone was kind of, pilots suffered a lot during COVID. And I think this was a good way for them to make a living. For some of them, I think they've been very successful with huge following. Flight Deck to Sim, for example, has really huge following, and I know V1 is on the way again, climbing rapidly with very huge following. And yeah, we can thank COVID for that. And I think that's the reason why you don't really see a lot of folks flying the MD-80. And it is a complex aircraft. So it is an aircraft that requires some learning. And it's a little bit, it used to be heavy on the frames, not anymore. So when it was first released, I think it was a bit heavy on the frames. I personally don't find it now heavy on the frames. It's just comparable to the PMDG 737. In fact, it is better optimized than the Phoenix A320 in terms of performance. Personally, guys, I love this aircraft. I think it's one of my favorites. I love flying it in X-plane. I loved flying it, of course, by rotate, the MD-80 by rotate. I love flying it in X-plane. I enjoyed flying it in P3D, and definitely recommend it here, and I'm definitely enjoying it for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, one comment that maybe you guys can also help me with. I think I've received several comments from several followers and subscribers to the channel where they tell me, Q8, when you're doing a review, can you please not do it in a live stream format? Because it's very difficult to navigate to the little parts that we actually want to learn about. So can you please make them videos like you used to? What do you guys think? Do you think that it's you know, do you think that I should review in recorded format or in a live stream format? Generic account, amazing greetings from Buenos Aires, Argentina. welcome, my friend. Glad to have you with us. We have somebody from Argentina with us here. So welcome aboard, my friend. Yeah, I was really hooked on Argentina when in 1986 during the World Cup, which Argentina won. And it was definitely the time where the legend Diego Maradona came to the world and became very known. He was a Napoli player playing in Italy, but it definitely, I was a big fan of their soccer team. I still am, by the way. I love watching Latin American soccer. Latin American soccer is phenomenal. Brazil, Argentina, those guys are just wow. I love watching them play football or soccer. But yeah, those were the days. I remember I used to own all sorts of books on Maradona and his life, and I used to play soccer a lot as a youngster. But yeah, those were the days, without a doubt. All right. So if we look here at top of descent, folks, we are looking at 75 nautical miles before top of descent. And if we if we zoom in here and go to the next page, you can see that we need to be at 3,000, which is the initial approach altitude for Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina, and Sierra Alpha Bravo Echo, our destination airport today. So we are going to be resetting the MC. We can see the top of descent here. So as you can see here, we can see the top of descent, and we can see that the heading bug is not set correctly. So let's set that correctly. And now we're going to reset the MCP altitude to 3,000 feet. And the aircraft should begin the automatic descent as soon as we hit the top of descent point, which now we can see on the display. Let's take a look here at the outside. Very serene scene here. There are, much to my surprise, there aren't that many mountains across Argentina. Pretty much flat land for the duration of our flight, but I love the approach into Jorge Newbery Airport and the capital. It's just the approach is beautiful. The airport is overlooking the sea, and it makes for a beautiful approach into the capital. By the way, this should have been disarmed some time back. All right, let's set the view. So record format is better in my opinion, but also keep live stream reviews. You can always view a live stream video. When you make a mistake, it helps us much more. Yeah, so I think for the reviews, so for the tutorials, I think I'm going to keep the live format. The live streams, I think, is an excellent way for me to learn also from you guys. Buenos Aires, Cordoba. Is it Cordoba? Buenos Aires to Cordoba. I hope I'm pronouncing all of this correctly, by the way. Live stream only, please. Boeing Corp. All right, I hear you. All right, perfect. I like your live stream reviews and group flight. All right, that's cool. You know, when I fly in, a new part in the world. So for example, we've been flying in South America. We've done a flight in Chile and now Argentina, and followed by probably Brazil. Rio de Janeiro, I think, is going to be next. I feel like I really want to learn the language, and I just go and search on how to pronounce certain words, and I know a little, just very few words in Spanish, but it's from my California days where there is a lot of Hispanics in California, so they speak Spanish, of course. and they used to approach me. A lot of Spanish, a lot of Mexican friends. So yeah, I love learning languages. I just wish I could learn all of them. I recommend you to fly to the south, where the landscapes are amazing, like Oshoya, El Calafati, or Berlushi. Okay, what I'll do, generic account, is what I'll do is I'm going to revisit this chat once, you know, the stream is over, and I'm going to make a note of these locations, and hopefully, because I'm going to be flying a lot in the South American continent, and that's something I want to do. I want to explore this region, and so this is very helpful for me. Thank you very much for making these suggestions. Spanish here, now Portuguese speaker. Cool. I suppose that they're not very different, Spanish and Portuguese, because I had a friend back when we were in the States, Clarissa, and Clarissa was from Brazil, and she spoke Portuguese, and she told me that it's actually pretty close. Portuguese and Spanish is kind of like the same. There are a few differences, but overall, if you speak Portuguese, you can speak Spanish, and vice versa. Of course, I don't know how accurate that is, but yeah, that's what I've been told. Zain Saber, hello my friend, welcome aboard. Glad to have you just in time for our top of descent and landing into the Argentinian capital. Nice swing view there. Right, you know what? Before we forget today, what I want to do. What happened here? All right, switch this back to map. All right, so before we forget, I'm just going to go ahead and very quickly bring up the flight control replay. I'm just going to put it on the other monitor, and so that we can record our landing. Hopefully, I won't forget. You have a lot of different words, and the way you think is a little bit different. Oh, okay. All right. Is Spanish more like French in terms of the verbs, and do you have like different words for like male, female distinction? I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I'm from Brazil, and yes, we can understand Spanish, but it can be tricky sometimes. Oh, okay. Yes, both are Romance languages, indeed. And I'll add to that French. I mean, the Germanic languages are very romantic as well. The landscape in south of Argentina and Chile are very similar. Oh, okay, that's good to know. I'm Spanish living in Spain. Here, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. You mean Lela defines masculine and feminine? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I meant, Rand. Thank you very much. You read my mind there. That's exactly right. All right, we're approaching top of descent, and about 10 nautical miles, and here we are. Now we're going to descend. All right, so now what we're going to do, folks, we're going to come down here, and we are going to go to the performance once more, but this time we're going to select the landing tab, and the arrival airport is Sierra Alpha Bravo Echo. Enter that. We are arriving runway 13. Conditions dry. Flaps, we're going to do 1540, 15, no, we're going to do 1540. And the current wind at our destination is 120. Woo! Seriously? 120, 19 knots. Wow. That's a lot. All right, 120 and 19 knots. Gee, that's going to be some landing there. The outside temperature at the capital is 13 Celsius. So 13 is set. And average reference 5, that's okay. And the landing weight. Now, the landing weight, if we look here at the gross weight, this is the current weight of the aircraft. So this will continue to decrease as we approach the capital. Now I'm going to estimate another 1,000, so I'm going to say 55,000 is the gross weight at landing. 55,000. And we can now say calculate, and now we have all of our speeds. So the VREF is 129 for when flaps 40, and 153 15. So that's cool. All set, and we are now ready to. We have actually begun the descent. From 30,000. You can see the FMS is now in idle speed, and we will continue to assess if we look down here. All right, 28 nautical miles to Sierra November Tango, and I think we might need to override the FMC or the speed and reduce our speed so that we keep the altitude. By the way, if we go to the weather here, if I put weather, will we get weather? I wonder. I don't think it's operational. Yeah. Looks like weather failed. Doesn't seem like it works. Alright, well that's alright. Let's come back here and change this. Why does this keep changing? We need this on map. And we have now begun the descent towards the Argentinian capital, ladies and gentlemen. MCDU message. What does the message say? Drag required. Alright, perfect. Let's go ahead and put the drag on. And what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to go to... Well, let's give it a little bit of time. And then we'll decide if we want to override the FMS speed. And see, the speed brakes are now deployed. And we are on our way now. The last few moments, or last probably 20 minutes or so of our flight today. In August 10th, the Argentinian Air Force will be performing a parade over Buenos Aires with 75 aircraft, including the A4 Fighting Hawk, a modern variant of the Skyhawk. Oh, that's good to know. I hope Argentina to buy some F-16s from Danish Air Force to replace the A4. Well, how cool. Yes, definitely, Boeing Corp. The MD-80 takes a long time to slow down, and it is a beast of an aircraft to land as well. So it takes special care of all the instrumentation to make sure that, you know, the controls is not something very easy to handle. Let's go back to climb here for the descent. We are now descending through 20,000 for 3,000. So far we're looking okay, and about 7 nautical miles to reach Sierra November Tango, which is the transition into Venar. And from Vinar is actually our transition into the star for runway 13 at Sierra Alpha Bravo Echo, which is our destination airport. Alright, I'm going to set the speed brake again just to make sure that we maintain the current speed. We can reduce the range here so we can take a look at what's going on exactly. So far we're doing okay in terms of our altitude. The rate of descent is about 2,300 feet per minute, which is okay. What's the landing runway? I'm not sure what is the length of the landing runway, to be honest. Fernando, hello my friend. Finally I see you in South America. I'm so happy. Well, Fernando, I'm happy myself. Very, very happy to be flying in South America and exploring this part of the world. I should have done this, you know, back in the day, but, you know, we are here today. And I think, guys, I'm going to start reducing the speed, the FMS speed. So if I look here, what is this? It's annoying. All right. So if I look here, 240, and we are still, you know, there. So I'm going to go to FMS override, and I'm going to go to 240 knots. We're right there. All right. And we are going to keep the speed brakes extended so that we can reduce our speed. As you can see now, we are reducing our speed. We're going to go to 240 knots. We're a bit too high. Hopefully we can compensate. You can see that the aircraft is in VNAV descent mode. What's the best weather app engine that you recommend? For Microsoft Flight Simulator, I recommend the default. I don't recommend that you buy anything. Just keep it default. All right. So at this point, guys, you can see that we are now descending again. We can see the diamond needle starting to move up again. We're a bit too high now for the current sector of the flight. And we have with us the Virtuoso. Great stream. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it, my friend. Very kind to keep encouraging me. All right, so 240 knots. And we then go to 170. So we are at 240 now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce our speed further to 220 knots. There we go. 220 knots is set. We're not too far now from our destination. All right, I think that's probably a little too much. All right, let's go to 230. That fixed it. Okay. And we are approaching 10,000 feet. So if we look here, that's the runway right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn on our landing lights. And the floodlights. Wing lights as well. Alright, perfect. We have everything set up for our landing now. We're a bit too high. And if we can, we can leave it there for the time being. We need to be above 5,000, so we're a bit too high, as you can see here, but should be okay. increase the range, we can see now better. But we're doing okay in terms of the altitude now. Below 10,000 feet. We're doing good. Extend the brakes here a little bit. FMS override. And I'm going to go to 220. Alright, we are now getting pretty close to our destination. Let's go ahead and set the altimeter, and the altimeter is 1024. All right, set. We are doing okay now in terms of the altitude and the rate of descent. Speed is good. There's our turn. All right, and we're going to arm the speed brake. We are looking good. Let's arm the speed brakes again, just to maintain our speed. I know today you are flying the Maddog, but do you prefer the Boeing or Airbus instrument layout? I personally prefer the Boeing layout for sure. Fly the Dash 8 from Miami to Dubai. Ooh, that's a really long flight. And I'm Flyer Robin. Good afternoon, my friend. Joining the video late. Had to get my morning bike ride. Good for you, my friend. Keep healthy. Stay safe. All right. At this point, folks, we are going to start reducing our speed to 175 knots. And we are going to come here and select ILS. We're going up to 3,000. Alright, and we are going to begin laps.
Extended.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Alright, we're silenced the horn. No longer need the override, so we can go to FMS speed.
Stabilizer motion.
We are looking good, ladies and gentlemen. And here is the turn towards the localizer. And we can see the glide slope needle moving as well. The airport is right ahead of us now. Right. And now we are going to flaps 15.
Flaps 15.
Start reducing our speed to 160 knots. Right, landing gear is coming down. By the way, I forgot to start the recorder, so all right, here we go. Recorder started, and we can take definitely a look at the replay later on. We're gonna go to 150 knots. 150 set.
25.
Speed check. Flaps 25.
Flaps 28.
Or 20, beg your pardon. We're slightly too high. We have the runway in sight. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what a beautiful looking approach into the Argentinian capital here. Look at that. Alright, let's make sure that this guy comes back. Let's arm it. We're gonna go to 133 and flaps 40.
Flaps 4.
Hello, Argentina. There is some serious wind there. All right, let's go ahead and set the brakes here to medium, or medium's fine. All right, at this point, we are going to disconnect the auto throttle, and we are going to disconnect the autopilot and my aircraft. Whoa, I tell you, the wind is very strong, guys. Wow. Very strong winds there.
400. 300. 200.
Light slope. Light slope. Light slope. Light slope. Light slope. Light slope.
140. 30. 20. 10.
Two in reverse. Reverse lights out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Buenos Aires, the Argentinian capital. That was beautiful. 72 FPM. Whoa, very, very nice indeed. Cool. Yeah, we'll take a look at the replay in just a minute. Let me go ahead and stop the recording here. All right, well, that was really fun, guys. Yeah. I tell you, the crosswind was so violent, but it was only added to the fun of bringing the aircraft down on the... Oh, come on. Come on. What's going on with my brakes there? All right, there we go. Wow, there's a lot of aircraft here at the airport. I didn't know. And see, surprisingly, even with this many aircraft, AI aircraft, very nice airport, by the way. This airport of Sierra Alpha Bravo Echo is available on the Sim Market Store. They have an abundance of add-ons for all simulators. So if you want to fly into the Argentinian capital, I highly recommend this airport. It's a very nice rendition of Jorge Newbery. And if you like flying in this part of the world, this one airport I recommend without a doubt. Very easy on performance, very nicely modeled aircraft. And yeah, I'm so very glad to have made this first flight in Argentina. Thank you, Boeing Corp. Stan. Thank you very much, guys. Lots of aircraft here without a doubt. So hopefully we can find a spot to land our beast of an aircraft, the Maddog, ladies and gentlemen, by Leonardo software. Yeah, looks like most of these... we have a parking spot right there. So we're just going to bring the aircraft here. Let's just say it's not the best of landing parkings, but it'll do. It'll do. We'll just say the marshaller didn't give us proper instructions. All right. All right, parking brake is set, ladies and gentlemen. And look at this. You know what? Let's do a replay, and then I'll show you guys the. Airport. So let's do that. Let's retract the flaps. All right, let's go ahead and load. And let's see, what did I call the file? I always call the file something, and then I forget what I called the file. All right, let's see here. I think I called this one MD. All right, open. Perfect. Play. Obviously, it's going to give us all sorts of... I never knew actually it had wing flex, but obviously it does. And this is just a beautiful approach into the capital of Argentina here. Just look at that, folks. What is that? Oh, here we go. Just look at that. Beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful approach into Buenos Aires. Lovely. Just really lovely. That's the, I can see the runway lights now. Beautiful. Our first landing, I think it's a good sign that we should do more flights in South America now that we've done this beautiful flight here in Argentina. Wow, guys, this is just absolutely stunning. Beautiful view here of the Argentinian capital. And of course, only those of you who are from Argentina can tell us if this is accurate and represents really what you'd see in the capital or not. And here's the runway in sight. Some serious crosswind there. Beautiful. Alright, so here is a look at the airport, guys. Very, very nice rendition of the airport. Again, I cannot vouch, of course, for the accuracy of the airport because I haven't really interrogated any footage of the actual aircraft in real life. But this really makes for a beautiful approach into the Argentinian capital. And if you like flying in this part of the world, this is one airport I highly recommend that you fly in and out of. This is in fact a real world route, so we flew an actual MD-80 flight from Paja Blanca to Jorge Newbery. in Buenos Aires, the Argentinian capital, aboard the MD-80. Guys, this has been a really enjoyable stream. I really enjoyed flying in South America. I've enjoyed flying in Argentina, flying the MD-80. It's an aircraft I definitely highly recommend, guys, if you want to, again, really delve into a study level simulation of an airliner. Then the MD-80 will definitely offer a lot for your flying experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Before we conclude, again, don't forget the summer sale that ends on the 15th of August at the I&I Build store. Some very good discounts, over 35% in some cases on selected products. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and give them a visit at https://store.inibuilds.com for some great add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator and X-Plane 11. Folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in this Sunday evening with me, Q8 Pilot. It's been real fun. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, and bye-bye for now.